We'll open the meeting. Okay, so we need to add an agenda item for new business for Veterans Day ceremony. Was there anything else? All right, do we have?
Move to accept agenda as amended.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anything on the meeting minutes of September 6th?
Thank you, Ian, for doing that.
I wasn't
You're
here,
welcome.
so I can, didn't see any, right?
They look fine to me.
Okay. All right, town manager's report?
So Dave left a couple of things. One, we finally started hearing back about the municipal energy resilience.
Oh,
Program.
grant thing?
So we have been approved for a level 1 energy resilience assessment, and we'll be hearing in the coming weeks about having that scheduled for this building, and then depending on how that goes, we'll be moved to the next phase level, whatever you want to call it.
Great.
The pavers will be here Monday or Tuesday. You all have a invitation for the Board of Directors from Pittsford Village Farm for their wine and cheese event on Tuesday, September 26th at 5:30, if you'd like to attend.
Which is unfortunately also town fair, so I think most of us will be there.
Yep. And then, Dave wanted to bring your attention to a ceremony on Saturday, September 30th from 9 to 11, from the Otter Creek Watershed District.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
And then we also got a really nice thank you, letter from the Lothrop PTO for allowing them to use the recreation area for their movie night. So they wrote a very nice thank you.
Nice.
And Dave attended a meeting September 12th for the traffic committee in Berlin. They ended up approving a wider 25-mile-an-hour speed zone through the village, so we'll be seeing signs going up for that shortly.
Right.
He's had a remote meeting and an in-person meeting with V-Trans about the Dollar General
Oh, the culvert?
culvert area. He had it with V-Trans and Dollar General. Dollar General has asked if they can just reimburse us for fixing it. Just we submit them a bill to fix it so that they don't have to try to find a contractor with V-Trans standards. And Dave met there yesterday again with another person from V-Trans to go over it.
Okay. So the state isn't just gonna fix it, cause they're the ones that
No.
did it in the first place?
And then VLCT is offering following grant opportunities that the Select Board or Planning Commission may want to consider. There's a municipal planning grant, a bylaw modernization grant, and a grant for new municipal park and ride lots. So if those are anything that anyone is interested in, we can provide more information on those.
What was this, second one?
The second one is a bylaw modernization grant. It's a 1-year grant program aimed to help municipalities update land use, development, and zoning bylaws to support pedestrian-oriented development and to increase housing choice, affordability, and opportunity.
Okay.
And the application date is November 1st on that one. And I think that was all of his notes that he left.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that?
Pavers, what were we, I assume we're paving here? You said the pavers were coming in?
Maybe it was
for-
whatever roadways.
Oh, the roads, are okay.
Roadways that
Whatever roadways, so.
were supposed to be on the list, and I honestly can't remember what they were this year, cause
I think, well, Kendall Hill was one, right? I think we
Think so.
switched from.
some of it we ended up chip sealing instead, and then some of it were paving.
Paving.
Arch,
So-
Arch Street, one
What-
of them? I think
Yes.
Arch Street's one of them.
Yeah, and I think instead of doing Whipple Hollow, we were
We
gonna do
did.
the truck route.
I think
Or
so,
Kendall Hill, whatever you
Whatever,
wanna call it. Yeah,
but they're
Yeah.
gonna start either Monday or Tuesday on those.
okay.
Alright.
Alright. So these grants, I guess probably we all should have more information to see what strings are attached to them,
Okay.
as there usually are,
Yeah.
before we decide on whether we like them or not.
Okay, anything else? Select board member remarks. I didn't have anything, no? Okay. Any public comment? Yes.
Me? No, I just wanted to, I saw the minutes from the last meeting, I guess, online, and I got an email from EPUC that they have responded to the letter that Dave sent. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't.
I'll leave it for you.
Oh, okay.
It's from the attorneys for the Outback, and it basically shuts down, so it's too bad for you guys, and they're in the queue, and you get preference, and, you know, it's kind of, you know, like, we don't care about what you think. Now, that's their opinion, obviously, so
Right.
we'll see what happens, but I also saw that you and Mark got together and worked on some verbiage, and then, but then is it that the state then just changed everything, so now to get through the hoops is even more difficult? Am I getting that right, or?
Yeah, so what the understanding is that for us, for the town to have any sway with any projects, you know, in a legal sense, that there needs to be much more specific language guided by the state.
Right, of course.
So, yeah.
They don't make it easy, do
No.
they? No. Okay. All right, well, I just wanted to thank you guys for at least trying. You know, I don't, it's probably not gonna go anywhere, it's probably a done deal at this point, but I appreciate the efforts.
Yep.
And everything else you guys do, because I know it's not an easy job and it's time consuming, and know that people do appreciate you guys and what you do, so.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate
that's
that.
all I had to say. Are you gonna talk about solar, because Mark's not here, you're gonna table it, or you don't know
I
yet?
mean, we'll discuss it. We won't take any action,
Okay.
I imagine, but, and I wasn't here at last meeting, so I gotta get caught up anyways to see where we're at.
Okay, all
So.
right, then I'll stay for that part.
Okay, it shouldn't be a long meeting anyways. We don't have too much going on.
Don't say that.
I know!
Jinx it.
Jinx us.
Any more public comment before,
I just had a quick question. I just recently learned about something in regards to the solar that I didn't know if you guys were aware of or not.
which one?
Oh, solar in
Just solar in general? Okay.
The toxic chemicals that are in those panels, that if they should break, that's gonna seep into the ground.
Yeah.
So you take a big project like the one over here that y'all have been talking about,
Recording in progress.
that, God forbids we ever have a bad hailstorm or something and those panels break, you're gonna have a hell of a hazmat situation.
Well, that's why I know, I won't speak for the board, but I had never had any issue with this project right over here, because it's already a brownfield. That soil is already contaminated.
Okay,
But that's why I personally have an issue with it going onto farmland.
other places, yeah,
Plus the river's right there.
Yeah.
The brook.
So, yeah.
yeah.
I know, and that's the whole issue too.
Yeah.
And they never answer specifically about decommissioning, like how that stuff's gonna, you know, where's it gonna go when it's the 25 years is up? So I know those are concerns, valid
Got
concerns.
25 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
Less than that
That's what they, yeah, I
I
mean,
know, but you know,
Probably got
that's
10
that's
realistically.
probably what they're looking at, you know, we'll figure it out when we get there.
yeah, which is, yeah, non-answer, makes me feel comfortable. So, no, yep. Okay, let's talk police vehicle, potential purchase. So I'll just let you go, if you'd like.
Stefan got all the prices, he couldn't be here.
Okay.
As you can see laid out on the front page is everything, and the total price is $42,844.32. And I'm gonna leave it at the mercy of the board. The only thing that I would like to tell you is that if this UAW strike continues on, we may not be able to get one. So, it's up to what the board wants to do here, because, I mean, we can fix the truck and run it another year, but it's up to you guys.
To that, I don't know what y'all's standards are, what have you, but while the UAW strike and a lot of other things can affect new car production, there's a lot of old police vehicles out there that are only, like, I'll say off lease, 2018, 2016, They got fairly low miles and they're around, they're pretty plentiful. I was looking at special service vehicles, which are the beefed up Suburbans and Tahoes, and there's lots of them out there. So that might be an option.
Okay.
But from my perspective, the only problem with that is they've been idling forever.
Yeah.
So they may not have many miles on them, but they got a lot of hours.
They're
on
hour
them.
clocks,
They're
yeah.
Hour clocks, you know, and idling is the worst thing you can do for an engine. So, you know, I just, potential for problems there, you know. In the end, how it would wash out, I don't know. But if you know, gotta replace an engine, because there's no warranty. So, you know, is it really worth taking the risk? Just my perspective.
Well, Alicia, can I just speak about it?
42.
Yeah, please.
44, 32.
So you guys at your last meeting had asked about a
Recording in
breakdown.
progress.
It keeps flipping out. We're trying to deal with it behind the scenes.
Okay.
In your last meeting, you guys had asked for a breakdown of what's actually in the police vehicle fund, how this would affect it
Yes.
going forward and everything. So in your packets, I broke it down for you. It looks like this. Right now, because of the vehicle purchase last year, it started July 1 in the hole, 6,964.69. There's an allocation of 15,000 for this year. So as of June 30th, 2024, there'll be $8,035.31 in there. And then I broke it down, you know, if we did the vehicle cost, and I had the numbers from last meeting, I was given these today, so I didn't adjust it. You're gonna be looking at, if you purchase this vehicle, give or take, you're gonna be in the hole about 41,968.69. So Dave and I had discussed it, and I said, if we do decide to get this vehicle, we'd need to increase the allotment to the vehicle fund going forward. And then just say no vehicles for 5 years for police, so that they can pay this back and build it up. Because what's been happening is you've been buying them, like Tom said last time in the meeting, pretty much on credit. You're using the town as, so it's never been able to get out of the hole successfully.
We don't put enough in every year.
Right.
We don't put
That's
enough
our
in.
problem.
You had been doing $10,000 a year. We did move it to 15,000 for this fiscal year we're in right now. It would probably need to go up to 25,000 in order to be able
Caught
to
up eventually.
pay this back and rebuild before the next vehicle would need to be purchased. But that would give you, I believe, a 2017, a 2022, and a 2023, and the 2017 has the rebuilt
That's got a new
engine.
engine in it.
So,
Right.
so it really, realistically, 5 years out for a new vehicle is not out of the realm of possibilities.
At this time, Mike, why are we trading? If we got, you foresee troubles coming with the vehicle you wanna get rid of?
It needs, yeah, it needs,
I mean,
it
there's-
needs sway arms, it needs exhaust, and it's at its 5-year limit. Normally, I ask for a new car every 5 years. And that's where I'm at, you know, and I understand where the board's coming from. But it's at its 5-year limit, and we can either dump money into it and fix the sway arms and the exhaust and keep running it, or we can trade it in and get 16.5 for it, where next year we won't be able to get that.
No, it will go down, but,
It will go
on the other hand,
zero.
your money and your kitty will be starting to come up a little too.
I understand that, Joe.
So there's,
I understand that, but I've always been behind the 8 ball here with new cars.
never
And I don't know why I can't ever get caught up, but that's how. Now, these cars should realistically last us till 28 and 29.
and if we were to give you this one now, you're good for 5 years with no problem?
I'm good for 5 years.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, no accident or anything.
Well, wait,
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I don't come in here asking for cars unless they're, when the registration comes due, that's a 5-year registration, I come in and start asking for a new vehicle because it's time to be replaced.
It seems like historically, we've always been kind of behind the 8 ball with funding for these vehicles.
Mhm.
And I don't know what we're doing wrong.
Not putting enough money in.
Yeah, I know.
We're doing wrong.
That's, yeah,
It's
Simple,
historic,
well,
it's historically been underfunded.
right. And I think when we started the police department here, we didn't
We didn't use
need
them
as
that
much.
No,
Right.
we didn't.
You know, and unfortunately, the times we live in, we need
More and more.
more and more, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of the way it is.
I understand that too.
So, you
Whether,
know,
whether
we're-
this, I mean, we're under contract with Chittenden, which is okay for, but is that costing us money?
No, we're
We
making
don't.
money.
no, we're
Making money.
making money on
Joe, I
that.
think we're making money.
Well, we think, I don't know if we
Well,
should
I
think. but
I
think we
don't, I don't
wanna
know all the
whether we're
numbers.
making
That
money.
lady over there, she can either tell you if we're on top or down below.
We're good with Chittenden and we're good
We're
with
good with Omnia,
Omnia. We
yeah.
have two different contracts we're running on currently.
Right,
We're
Both of
making money on
them
both, as far as
make
I
the
know.
department money and their ticketing, I don't wanna say profits, but their revenues from ticketing has been up
Subsidizes it.
historically the last 2 years, much greater than anticipated.
it just seems like your proposal for 5 years, that sounds good and it makes sense, but are we gonna be able to live with it? Is something gonna happen in the meantime? That you're gonna come back in here and say, well, we got a car, we gotta replace it 2 years, 3 years?
I shouldn't say that, Joe. I mean, we got the oldest car that has a brand new motor in that I personally like,
Yeah,
okay? The other one's got 10,000 miles on it, and then the pickup truck that I'm here to try to get rid of.
right. You know offhand what mileage is on that pickup? Has it?
83,000.
Yeah, pushing up there. Just do it.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of miles,
Joe.
but it is under the conditions.
Well, it is. There's a lot of idle time on it.
It's, you can't,
I'm not downplaying it, but the cars get rode hard and put away wet. I mean,
Yep.
when we ask them to do what they need to do, and, you know, that's what I can tell you. I mean, there's a lot of, like this gentleman said, there's a lot of used police cars out there, but I know how police cars are used, and I don't know that it would be something that I would,
well, you might be trading one set of troubles for another.
but at least it's under a 3-year warranty. I mean, I got at least 3 years out of it where they're gonna cover everything.
Right.
So,
Did you look into other vehicles to get like a price comparison?
I did not. I did not look at, Dave wanted me to look at a Ford pickup, and the problem with that is we try to stay with pursuit-rated vehicles, okay? And there's not a lot of manufacturers out there anymore. The Ford Explorer is one, but we didn't have good luck with our Ford Explorer at all.
Okay.
And then, the other one is, they're going to is Chevy Tahoes, but they're pricey.
You know,
Didn't Rutland tell, they had some trouble with the Explorers too, I believe.
The state, everybody did.
Yeah.
With CO2 coming in the cabs, and they said, just go get a CO2 sensor, put it in your
Oh,
car.
jeez.
Great.
That was their remedy.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I remember that, and some departments actually went out and did that instead of fixing the problem, they just put carbon monoxide detectors in the cars.
Yeah,
When they went off, what'd you do, roll down the windows?
yeah, that's basically what you did, or got out and walked around.
Yeah,
That's pretty scary.
Personally, Joe, I'm very happy with the Dodge products. They're comfortable.
Yeah.
Um,
They're okay.
they fit our needs.
If we were to go forward with this, how are we gonna pay for it?
So that comes up in budget season, and I put a proposal at the bottom of my little synopsis that we're gonna have to start putting $25,000 a year into that account, because we've historically been underfunding it. Now we need to
Bring it up to. where
bring it up to what it should be. I mean, we've done it with most of the other departments. We have 2 other departments that are also
First response
historically.
is also underfunded.
But this,
First response is horribly underfunded
much
for their vehicles.
this, this vehicle, if we were to say, go for it, Where's the funds coming from? They've already checked for that.
Out of our
So-
general
We
fund.
have that kind of money
We have the
in
kind
a
of,
slush fund, if you wanna call it that.
we have that kind of money that we can pay for this vehicle and it won't hurt the normal day-to-day running of the town.
That's important.
The last time
We
our
have a
auditors
surplus.
advised that we do our own financing rather than pay a bank to do what,
Yep.
I mean, it makes sense.
Which makes sense,
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
Right
especially
now-
with interest rates what they are now.
Exactly.
Do we-
Right.
And we don't have, do we have any ARPA money left?
Is there any that
We
can
have
use?
appropriated it, saying that we wanted to use it for the sewer for Plains Road.
We've not actually
We
done it.
haven't actually spent
That's
it
what I
yet.
No,
So
but-
it's,
We can look at a little bit
it's
if we have
sitting idle where you're gaining interest
I
on
know,
it on a
but
monthly
we,
basis.
like, I know it's like not actually spent yet, but what did we end up allotting? 600,000 for sewer? And that was the most. that was-
Approximately, I think
A
there's
little
like,
over that, but
Was it
somewhere.
more than that?
And that may end up being a bond
And then-
anyways, I don't know. I don't think we'd have
Well, that's
enough to
true.
do it, So.
So I guess, yeah, we
personally
have
think
ways
can
to
look
look
that
at,
when the time
Joe,
comes. We've
you
got
know?
time on the ARPA
Yeah.
money to figure this all out, actually.
Right.
Well, and the interest on that ARPA money, we must have pretty near made this
I was
40
gonna say,
grand, right?
yeah, we're making some money on it, we should.
Should be anyway.
There's what, 700 and some odd thousand still in there? I don't know.
Or not?
Might,
Is it on any CDs? I
no,
don't know.
I don't know.
it's not.
It's not.
It's currently sitting in our general fund checking account. Several times, someone has been asked by 3 different town managers to move the funds, and it still starts in the general fund checking account.
So something should be changed there, should it?
yeah, we don't have control over that, unfortunately.
So, it is making interest in the account it's in. It's not as
But we
high of an
could-
interest as if it had been put in a CD.
But we could put like a 6-month CD. So that-
We still can move it, I just,
I mean, it
that
can be
we
done, yeah.
don't,
It's
we
been,
can't
it's
move it.
been requested.
All right,
Anyway,
so we'll
that's-
figure out,
Recording in
That's
progress.
here today.
we'll figure out how to
That's
pay for
something
it.
different.
So, what do we wanna do? About the
I
drag
will
out?
make the motion to purchase this police cruiser not to exceed $43,000.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And we won't have to look at your lovely face for 5 years.
Stefan was supposed to be
You'll
here.
find something to call me in for.
Stefan was supposed to be here tonight, but he's on.
Yeah, I know, he called me and
At the
I asked him if he
hospital
needed
and-
any help,
yeah.
he said it's a mess.
Yeah,
We've had
because-
some doozies lately.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad one tonight. We were there for 2 hours. People were from Florida. He had to give them a courtesy ride back to Bombazine.
Your proposal
Totaled
for
their
this
Jeep.
That stinks.
is coming into our next year's budget.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're
Have a good
welcome.
night.
Hopefully it'll get
See
us
you,
on
Mike.
track where we ought to be.
One slight suggestion, as far as helping to fund that and maybe slow down some people, as much as I hate to say it, is maybe to increase our patrols if possible and write more tickets, because there's been a lot of complaining on FedBook on the town page about how people are flying through town.
I know, I've seen
Yeah,
it.
there is. I've seen it.
And, you know, it might be a help, to bring in more money for that. Not that I want to see one of those fakakta revenue generating vehicles that Brandon and other departments have that you can barely make out what it says, okay? But at least have a bigger presence where more people coming through town see cops sitting around more often. They'll start to say, okay, maybe I don't want to come flying through here as much, you
Park the
know?
old one and put a dummy in it.
I've seen that.
They do that.
Georgia State Police, they do that.
One thing,
Not a
one
bad
thing,
idea.
Well, when the change in our speed limit, broadening it out 25
Yeah, that'll,
will,
Do you know how far that's gonna go?
it's gonna go from,
25, I'm sorry.
No, it is. It's gonna be like going through Proctor. It's gonna seem
it'll be like
painful, but it'll
Plains
be
Road
good.
to the
It'll be good.
top of the hill, above the mobile station.
Okay, good. I
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's 35 now.
It's,
And
people
I have
go 50.
yet to come along there where a car in front of me is doing 35, and I found just to see,
I
they're
know.
doing 50, 55 down that.
oh yeah, no, so even if we slow them down to 35, it's gonna make it better.
I mean, I know, because I feel like people usually generally think they can go 10 miles over. So if it's
Oh, yeah.
25 and they go 35, a lot safer than what's happening
Right.
currently.
I'm seeing more and more these flashing signs as you're entering certain towns. They're coming into towns that didn't have them. I'm around quite a little bit with a truck and, and I think that I don't know whether they're permitted here. I mean, the state on Route 7 has control over all the signs.
We bought two
Well,
already.
We have two
We
on.
got two coming.
We bought them.
No, we have them.
They have
They're
them?
here.
Okay, we do
Ones
have
that
them.
give the speed.
Yes.
I think
Can
they're,
you do your best to make sure they're accurate? Just about every town I come through, no matter what vehicle I'm driving, they're at least 3 miles an hour off. And for an officer to sit there and use that sign,
They don't use that sign.
they have though.
Yeah, but they don't. Not in Vermont.
Well, I've seen it happen.
In
Where the
Vermont?
cop sits at by the sign, and instead of using his own gun, he uses that, and that's 3 miles an hour off.
well, that's not the way they should be
No.
operating, I don't
It
think.
shouldn't be, but it happens.
But Chester, Ludlow, Brandon, they're all over the place.
Rolling Town.
And there again, I suppose on Route 7, the
Rochester.
state has control, but I even see them in some towns, and we have a cart that we've moved around.
Yep.
I don't know where it is now, I haven't seen it for quite a while.
It was
But-
on Route 7, it's being moved to
But that should be
Elm.
out on our town roads, wouldn't hurt a thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
No, they've had it on my road, they've had it, we've had it everywhere.
I've seen
Yep.
it,
Yeah, I've seen
and
it
that's
out
a
on
good
West
thing.
Creek.
It
Yeah.
was up
Yeah,
here
we
for a
keep
long
moving
time.
it around, so, you know.
It was
Yeah,
on
I
Route
think
7.
that those, they catch my attention, I'll
sure.
tell you.
For sure.
And,
All right, let's move on to solar sighting and enhanced energy plan. I don't know if anyone wants to briefly catch me up on what happened. Oh, not you.
Nothing, well, no, we didn't do anything.
Okay.
Nothing.
So I'll catch you up that way, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I'll be back.
All right. Well, okay. Don't get comfy.
His
I don't know
office
how.
is unlocked or my office is fine.
Okay.
So, continued the conversation last meeting, and was there? I know you didn't make any like
We didn't make
motions,
any, no.
but did the discussion further itself in any one direction or another?
No.
Have we talked to
really.
Planning Commission about asking them to start working on an enhanced energy plan based on what, like, Rutland Regional
I think, was Mark gonna?
would help with? Because I know they would help.
Mark did attend the last planning commission
Yeah.
meeting by the minutes that I was given to put online.
Okay,
I highly advise you to read those minutes.
okay,
The planning commission minutes.
Yeah.
okay. I believe I had, now that you're reminding me, yes. But regardless, I mean, I guess my other question, while we're discussing this, is I know there was, grant money for us to get help with, updating our town plan, and do you know, like, the status of that? Have we applied for it?
Right,
So-
wasn't he gonna apply for it? Right.
So the grant for updating the town plan, you have to get your planning commission to agree to update your town plan.
Oh, like they have to vote?
They have to agree that they're going to update the town plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Please read your planning commission
Okay.
meeting minutes.
Now, what happens, apparently, if they
Okay.
disagree, hypothetically, what would be
Jesus.
our next move?
Oh, yeah.
Are we stymied, or can we move ahead?
Don't they work by our direction?
They
too?
work by your direction.
That's,
Therefore, if they do not want to work in the direction you are moving in, they are appointed officials, and you
Exactly.
can unappoint officials and start with a different slate if that is what is
maybe
required.
we should have a meeting with the planning
I
commission.
think
I
that's a good
think you
idea,
might want to
actually.
have a meeting with the planning
I
commission.
think they should be invited to our next meeting
I think that's a fabulous idea.
and get it from the horse's mouth. Right, Joe?
well, the planning commission, as I understand it, has to be renewed every so many years. And we're kind of in between that, I would think now, but they can make changes in the middle of that period of time.
Right.
And it doesn't seem like it was too many years back that this plan we're working under now went into effect. So.
7 years?
How many
Maybe
more
5?
years do we have before it's coming up
Well,
for
no.
total renewal?
Within
Are
3 years, I
these,
believe.
are
was
these
gonna say.
issues that we're talking about critical enough so they need to be dealt with in between the planning?
Yes.
I think so.
And that's okay, and that can be done, but there's
Yeah.
a special way to do it, I'm
Right.
aware of that.
Right.
And that may be where we should be headed.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And
That's why we
But
need to talk to them.
I
Yeah.
think the state is, this solar thing, the state's been pushing. And
Oh, yeah,
I think
but,
that the state, if I'm not mistaken, wanted each town to do a certain amount, and it seems to me that somewhere in recently, not too far back, I have the knowledge, gained the knowledge that we were pretty much up to state's
pretty close to
State
it, if
state
not
standards,
already
if you wanna
there.
I think
call
we're
it
already
that.
there.
I don't really wanna call it that, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think Pittsford don't have to do
I
everything
think we're
the
almost
state
at
tells us,
maximum
but.
for the substation.
I think so too, which is why it's important we have language.
We're almost over for the
Yeah, I was gonna say we're almost
substations.
over.
So, but
Just
we
barely under
currently
the-
have nothing, no strong language in our town plan that prevents more from
Well, there
coming,
wa-
which is where we're at, and which is why we need
That's why we need to do
develop something.
After the deal with them windmills over here in the West Mountain Range, there was some changes made, I believe.
There is discussion about, wind
There
in our
is
town
wind,
plan,
but
yes.
nothing about
But
solar.
not solar.
That
So-
isn't enough. We need to look at it and do more, I guess.
Yeah, I
That's
guess,
what-
I think there's maybe some I think there is maybe some miscommunication with, the planning commission or between
yeah,
us, and I
that's why,
just,
yeah, we
I
need
think
to-
if we do have them come to invite them to come to the next meeting, I think that's a great idea.
Didn't Mike come up with some language that he thought was good and he presented to you guys?
He
and you guys
did.
didn't
He
like
did.
it?
And then Mark came up with
Mark
language
came
that
up
was
smothered, that
more,
was-
even more specific, but,
it's
and
been
then,
back and forth.
and then it happened to be that somebody from Rutland Regional was here, and was basically like,
That's not good.
that's not gonna ever hold up in any legal sense. So.
We need an enhanced energy plan, not
Right,
just
need a
solar.
whole-
It has to
yeah.
cover
We wanna
solar,
do it right
wind,
if we're
et
gonna
cetera,
do
et
it.
cetera, et cetera.
Right,
You know.
correct.
I thought there was a guy from Rutland Regional that was willing to come and help with that.
Yes, they
Yeah.
they're very
Yeah.
willing to help,
Yeah.
so
Would it,
Need-
That's
we
where the
need to
problem
have
is.
people accept said help.
But if they're
So,
told to accept the help, then.
well,
Well,
We'll
maybe that
see.
needs to happen.
so,
Or asked.
yeah.
Ask.
Right, asked.
Nice.
Maybe, hopefully we
Nicely.
can come to some kind of agreement at the next
Yep.
meeting. That would be fabulous.
would it be a good idea for the select board and the plan commission to kind of get together and at some, either one of their meetings or our meetings and go over this a bit? Maybe we already have.
Well, we have, but I think, so we're gonna invite
We're
them
gonna
to our
invite for our
next
next
meeting,
meeting.
Joe. Well, so we'll, I think it'll be a more productive conversation if we're all
And we can
here.
work
So that'll be what,
together.
October 4th?
Whatever we
October
do
4th,
has to
yes.
go
Yeah.
before the Rutland Commission down there. They have to approve it or disapprove it. so-
Yep, there's definitely
yeah.
a process, so we
I
need
know.
to, and it's
Yep.
been dragging, so we need to just get them in the room and kinda address
Yeah.
all that.
They'll be announcing their agenda on Friday, I believe, is what
Okay.
I heard. Kevin Blow was in talking to Jeff Biazuzzi today, so
Okay,
I'll be getting that on Friday.
all right, great.
Okay, good.
Okay, thanks. Alrighty,
Okay,
I guess I'll leave you.
all right.
Do you want this or?
I would love to read it, if that's okay. I could
Sure.
get it back to you if
No,
that's
no,
your
no,
only copy.
I can always print off.
Okay, all right,
It's interesting.
all right, thank you, I
Okay,
appreciate that.
Alright, thank you guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
All right, potential turnaround on Elm Street. I did
Oh, you gotta
hear,
get Dave back.
oh shoot, I did that last,
Dave, come
I'm
back!
there in the dark all by myself.
Gets me every time.
Sorry, nothing personal.
Yeah, sure, First time you got away with that comment, not anymore.
We thought you were in there having a nap. You wanna wake up.
His chair's more comfy than this one, that's for sure.
Oh, goodness. All right, so turnaround on Elm Street. I'd heard about it. Well, even though I
Yeah.
wasn't at the meeting, I heard
Yeah.
about it. I don't see where there's any room to do that. So,
Well, I don't know, it could be. Didn't
Is
Chad?
it down by the Cooley Bridge you're
Yeah, right
talking?
before.
yeah, which is boggy, like
I don't
like
know whether they could
always.
fill that in enough. I haven't
That's you'd have to.
driven down by
That's
there.
Didn't Chad
boggy
have
all
a
the time.
proposal in
Yeah,
there?
I walked that.
It's in the
'cause-
town manager's report, that's what I'm digging
I
up
was gonna
to.
say, I saw it somewhere.
So Chad prepared an estimate for the truck turnaround that was discussed at the last select board meeting.
Yep.
He planned an area 100 foot by 30 foot by 10 foot, and it's gonna require approximately 1,600 tons of gravel, as well as rental of a compaction roller, topsoil seed, and a week of labor. So the total cost is gonna be approximately $24,500 to put in a turnaround.
No,
No thanks.
no.
Why couldn't they got a load of material that they're looking for a place to dump, just dump it down there and gradually,
I think the thing is too, in my mind, I mean, it's a beautiful historic bridge, and I'm not sure why we're altering that whole area just because of trucks that are going the wrong way. And when I think maybe signage, up the top might be better. Well, eventually,
but
we
they
all
don't
know
need it.
I know, we all know the
They
signs don't
know
work,
signs
but.
don't work.
Signs don't. What would work is put up some poles with a bar across the
Yeah.
top that they can't get under.
That
Yeah.
might work.
McDonald's
That
drive-through.
way, a covered bridge somewhere up in the northeast, I've seen on news. They've been hammering that covered bridge.
Oh, yeah?
I know,
No,
it's-
yeah.
That's like a railroad overpass in, I wanna say Amsterdam, New York, something like that. Almost every week a tractor
Somebody
trailer
get-
hits
oh, yeah.
that thing.
Oh,
I mean,
one by,
Well, it's a tough one too.
They got lights all over the place,
Yep.
flashing lights to tell you.
It's like going through the notch.
Oh, yeah, same thing.
yeah, that's, yeah.
I just don't know why we
Well, the
would.
one by Omea, every
Yeah.
now and then somebody will get stuck in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, I don't think we need to spend
You
$25,000
got that
for people who
bypass
aren't
there,
following
too.
instructions. Instead, they can get towed out and they can pay the fee, so.
No, this way they get turned around, they wouldn't get a ticket.
Brandon,
No.
there's a sign, like, not very far down, bridge, and they have different signs, like, every so many feet. So by the time you get there, if you get there, you obviously can't read, so how did you get your license?
Yeah, no kidding.
And some of them can't, that's the
But, I
problem.
mean-
Well, that's, you talk to Mike, how many of them don't speak
They
English?
don't speak English, they don't read.
But the amount of signs that they have and the graphics on them.
Yeah, if you do the good
Well,
graphics,
but then-
that should,
You know, the knots, Jeffersonville.
yeah,
I mean, there's signs as big as this room saying no trucks.
oh, yeah.
And I mean, yeah, and they
Doesn't apply to
still go
them.
up there.
Cause their GPS said
I
they
mean, the
can.
state should have,
Well,
Guess we'll need
cornfield,
5 or
pictographs.
10 years ago, when they wanted to pass that law, that if you were gonna drive a truck in this state, you had
You
to
had
have a
to-
truck GPS.
Yep.
But then,
Oh, no, couldn't do that, too
Couldn't-
expensive for the truckers. That was why they didn't,
bullshit.
that's why,
My language.
yeah, but that's why.
Yeah, no.
No, I know.
I don't know what they cost today, but I know 20 years ago when I was driving
They
a
were
big
expensive.
truck, it was $600 and something for one of them Fakakta GPS units. I
But
was
they're
like,
not-
no, I know how to read a map, I know how to read signs, I pay attention only once, because I was following directions, I got stuck at the Lincoln Tunnel.
Didn't
And
do it
boy, oh
again.
boy, that place lit up like New Year's Eve at Times Square. Lights were flashing, sirens were blaring. Cop comes running out of the booth. What are you doing? I'm like,
Oops.
basically.
Well, yeah. But,
But, yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
you got a $500,000 truck, you ought to be able to afford $600 GPS.
so I take it this is a no.
It's a no, we're gonna move, yeah. All right,
Move
town
along.
asset discussion. I don't know, you guys apparently, did you ask for this last meeting? Am I?
Mark is
Mark-
after.
I don't know.
Mark has been asking for it for several meetings.
Right.
It has taken me a while because we had never had control of our fixed asset list.
Oh, right.
The old auditors and Nemrick had control of it. It didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
So I got Chip at Nemrick to give me control of our assets. So I went through each listing by department with department heads to make sure everything was actually still an asset for the town. Eliminated the ones that should have been eliminated and had never been eliminated. Added in the purchases for fiscal year '23 onto there. And that's the report that's now sitting in front of you.
Okay.
I haven't figured out the depreciation for fiscal year '23 yet. I'm actually working with the new auditors to help me a little bit because this is not something I've done in the last almost 20 years probably. But we are getting much closer to being able to have full control of it on our own and not needing to rely on someone at Nemrick or an auditing service to manage our fixed assets anymore. We'll be managing them in-house instead.
Well, I looked through it and it looked to me like somebody spent a lot of time putting that all together. If it was you did a hell of a job.
Well, I was able to print out the old Nemrick reports and kind of use that as a base guide, and then we've tweaked it a couple times as we've found adjustments and changes and that kind of thing. but
No, I
our,
appreciate it. That's a good
our
thing.
auditing firm has double-checked my numbers to make sure, that fiscal year 22 ended where, our old auditing firm said they should be, and then fiscal year 23 has landed where it needs to be with the additions that we agreed upon.
Okay.
Ungodly amount of figures here.
It is, yes.
A lot of, well,
There's a lot of
yeah.
It's an extensive list.
Oh, my God,
Our new auditors have asked us to look at a capitalization policy because some of the dollar amounts do not seem fitting to be capitalizing anymore with the cost of the new costing of equipment and everything. So that is something that I've been working on to try to get a capitalization policy in place, because I don't believe we've ever had a firm capitalization policy that I can find. The old auditing firm had one in their audit report, and the dollar figure seemed a little low. Capitalizing a piece of equipment that's $1,000 didn't seem like a good use of our resources anymore
Okay.
with the cost of things, so this will be coming to you guys shortly.
All right.
I typed up a draft of one today, to send to Dave for him to review.
Okay.
So hopefully within the next meeting or two, you'll have a capitalization policy to kind of look at and mull
all of this
over.
stuff that's in here is somewhere scattered around town.
It is around town. It is either in the ground, on the ground, or has
A lot
wheels.
of it's roads.
A lot of
Yeah.
it is roads.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
road paving.
It
It's,
is
I know, I
ungodly.
would never thought of that.
I'm not sure just what I'll ever.
it is considered a depreciable asset because of the cost of it
Yeah,
and the fact that when you pave a road, it lasts more than 3 years.
right, okay.
Is the way they're looking at assets now, is
Oh.
if it lasts more than 3 years.
Oh, okay.
But if you guys do find any questions that you have, you can feel free to email me or call me, and I'm happy to discuss them. All of you have been around town longer than I have, so.
You saying we're old?
No, I am just saying that while I have property in town, I don't live here, and I have not worked for the town that long. You've all been on the
Okay,
board longer than
okay,
I have.
all right, all right.
Well, some are older than others.
Oh,
Made
boy.
me think of years ago, I went to the bank to borrow money and they wanted an inventory. How many cows I had, and how many forks and shovels and wheelbarrows. That's
Yeah.
what this is.
It is,
Pretty
that's
well,
pretty
yeah.
much what
Yeah.
it is.
Pretty much is what it is.
Does
But at
anyone
least
ha-
now we know what we have for
Yeah.
assets, what our books are
yeah.
reflecting, and what the
bad
value
idea, but-
is.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody comes in and wants something new, and it's like, well, what about this one here?
Yeah, yeah. We can find it.
Yeah.
So does anyone have any more specific questions about that before we move on?
Oh, at this
I think
point,
I
mean,
think I
take
need
some
to hang
time
on.
No, I know, it's,
to sort out
yep,
how it's.
The classifications, I will admit, are a little wonky. I
Yeah,
didn't have
'cause you
any,
got stuff that's in a list that looks like highway, and then you go through some more, and then there's another list that looks like it should be highway.
Right.
But it's a different list.
because they break it up by vehicle, equipment, and that's why I gave you a fixed asset code list on the front page. Because, it was kind of weird, and the people that were doing it, I can tell where it was more than one person inputting it, so somebody might have called one thing a vehicle, one of them might have called it equipment, so
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
not,
Oh,
and I don't know if I can really go back and play with what's there. I can only going forward make sure that we put
in the right list.
in the right thing. So like all of the ones that I entered last year, I did A for my first name, 23 for the year, and then it was 01, 02, 03, so that we will know that those are the ones that I entered going forward. And we know that the other ones were pre us taking over our fixed asset list.
Yep, okay. Great. Okay, Veterans Day ceremony. So, falls on a Saturday.
Falls on a Saturday. Per union contract, employees now have Veterans Day off. We have traditionally had kids participate in this, but if we are off the same time as the kids, I don't believe teachers are going to be willing to bring students to a Veterans Day ceremony when they're in school, when the schools around us also have Veterans Day ceremonies.
Right.
So we're trying to find out when you would like to have it, who's supposed to be in charge of it, because there's some question as to who's in charge of it. And then I think Dave was looking for clarification on it, cause I was telling him one thing and he was thinking it should be something different.
That might make a good job for the Historical Society. to
Well,
head up.
yeah, I mean, they are always involved. I thought they assumed they let it, but apparently it has been town managers,
John
plural,
was
going
like-
back.
John's
It's,
done it, yeah, for years.
so.
John did it.
I think since the inception.
Huh?
I think since the inception.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, no, he's always
but
done it,
obviously,
as
you
far as I
know, yeah.
It's something you guys can discuss further next meeting when Dave's here. I mean, that'll only be
Yeah,
October 4th.
I
and
know, we have till November.
No, it's November 11th,
Yeah.
10th, 9th, 13th, whatever. So we would have time to still pull it together. It's just starting to think about it, I guess.
I think it has always been on 11.
It's always
Yeah.
been November 11th
Yeah.
at
It's
11
always been on
o'clock.
the 11th, yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's never, I don't think it's ever fallen on
It's
Saturday.
Armistice Day,
so.
I heard.
Yeah.
But that's-
That's what it
Maybe it
usually
has,
called.
maybe it has, yeah. Although we haven't done one that many years though,
Mhm.
no.
So,
Mm-mm.
hold on, why can't I?
So it's on
See, look back.
So when it was during the week, the school children came, is that what you're saying?
Because this, like last year, the school children were off from school because they get Veterans Day off. We didn't because before July 1, it was not a holiday for our union contract.
Oh, I get, okay. I
So
see
we
what the
were
problem
able,
is.
Yeah.
we were here, the kids were off, so the kids, you know, we were able to get the Boy Scouts, we were able to get the singers from Lothrop.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I guess, part of, Otter Valley's band or something used to come
Yeah.
every once in a while.
You can't get them to a Memorial Day parade, Otter Valley Band, so I doubt they'd be here on
Oh,
Veterans
boy.
Day. That kinda burns me up a little bit.
But, you know, just looking at the progression and the way things are looking, what kind of ceremony do you want? If we can't have the kids, we can't have. We're gonna have to look at it and see if it needs to be
Yeah,
modified,
let's-
changed.
Let's think
or-
about this and we'll revisit it next meeting, but I mean, it's always a really good and very well attended
It's always
event.
been
I mean, we gotta
well
figure this
Yeah.
out somehow.
Because
you
the
know?
kids are off from school and their parents are home because the kids are off from school.
Right.
Could the weather have anything to do with this, or?
Last year was a beautiful day.
Beautiful day.
That's the
Some
only
days
one
We've had
I've,
some
cold.
windy
I was
ones,
gonna
cold
say, I
windy
feel there was
ones,
some-
but
there was some
there's
snow
always been
flying
a
at a
lot
couple
people
of 'em.
here.
that was
but-
pre-me, so I just,
All right,
I know
so,
last year.
so we need to know who's in charge, day, we need to figure out a day.
Almost need a bad weather program and a good weather program.
Well, they
if it
did,
were
they
possible.
would bring it in here if it was bad weather.
Right.
And it was outside if it was good weather.
Yep.
And last year was like the perfect day. It was
Oh,
beautiful,
Yeah, it was nice.
and there was like no breeze, so you could hear people, and then people were able to walk through, see the, because they dedicated the Veterans Wall last year. They've
Yeah, I know, that
Couple
was
of
really
people in
cool.
here.
Professor from Castleton, you remember who that was?
I have it on my computer.
Yeah, he gave a fantastic speech. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Remember him?
Yep,
Wow, he just
Can't
kept
remember his name.
everybody.
Hmm.
You might remember that. I think you were here, Dave. Was the Scouts?
No, I
maybe?
wasn't.
No, you weren't?
No, it was the first day of deer season,
Oh,
so no,
okay.
I didn't make it.
You didn't?
No. Or thereabouts, so no. No, I
Oh.
wasn't here last year.
But-
I've been here.
He was one of the
with
best speakers
Scouts
I
in the
think I've
past,
ever
but-
heard. He was fantastic.
Mm.
He really went into what Veterans Day was.
yeah.
You know,
And he kept your interest the whole
Mhm.
time. So,
All right, so we'll try to address those questions before, find answers to these, I guess, and before the next meeting. We'll discuss it further. All right, the only thing we have left is the orders. Were there any questions?
I didn't have any.
I did not either.
I noticed we had given the library $25,000 for building repairs.
That was voted on. It was your
That's
ARPA
ARPA fund,
appropriation.
That was the
Yeah.
ARPA, Joe.
Right.
You guys did it back in July.
So that was kind of taken care of, yep.
Did that do most of the repair? Did we just give them the money or? if they-
Just gave them the money.
just-
Oh, okay, so they haven't done the repairs
They haven't
yet?
received their checks yet until you sign these.
Yeah, they haven't,
Oh, okay.
I know, they just got them. They
Yeah.
actually haven't gotten it yet.
No, they're sitting.
They
Same
were
thing
doing
with-
work on the doors or something and.
The doors
Yes,
are back.
the doors are back on, they look
That's what
great.
This
They
is
did, yeah.
connected to probably.
Yeah, they may use that for the doors. I don't remember what the final cost was, but it came in under what was expected, which was nice.
They still got the roof, that's
That's the
big one.
big one.
Yeah.
Which did not leak though with the crazy wind and rain we've had
Good.
this summer, so fingers crossed. So, all right, if there's no other questions, we can sign all that.
We've got some signing to do here somewhere.
And we can also close out the meeting unless anybody wants to watch us sign things. As thrilling
You have
as
to
it
do it in
is.
open meeting. You
Oh,
have to sign
okay.
an open meeting.
Yeah.
All right.
You gotta
Close the
yeah,
meeting.
Don't get, you know.
You're getting too rambunctious.
I was hoping I was gonna make the last 10
Nope,
minutes of
you're not.
Lothrop's
Sorry.
open house.
We keep
My
this
son will be
straight.
very disappointed.
Well, sorry.
Yours isn't alone. My son was disappointed that I didn't go too, but I told him there's the meeting and there's the open house. Mom and I can only be in one place at
Yeah,
a
I wasn't here.
time, so
Yep.
I got the meeting, she's got the open house.
Yep,
There you go.
I know, his dad's.
Divide and conquer. Yep.
And I gave him $20 for the book sale, so he was happy about, or the
Yeah.
book fair.
Book fair. We told him we'll get them Saturday because the line last year was
Oh, I bet.
out the library.
I was also trying to figure out how, for only an hour, open house, they were gonna do, check out the new classroom and try to get books at the same time.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how that went tonight.
So they got a new classroom?
Well, I mean, for new to him, the kids, you know.
Oh, yes.
Like Brogan's in a new 6th grade classroom that I would have liked to check out. I'll see it another time.
One of the things that kind of gets me is they don't have the orientation anymore. Before school starts, where you can go
Yeah.
and see meet the teachers, and see
Right.
where they're gonna be.
Don't do that anymore?
Nope.
They do it at Caverly, but yeah, I think, and maybe for the kindergartners. Not even the kindergartners at Lothrop?
Nope. They didn't have any kind of anything when Jake started, although he never went because Corona started
No.
right after we moved here.
Kid.
He didn't care. Another year of
Oh.
no school.
Yeah, but those are the fun years, where you know. Is that it?
I believe so.
Was it sure?
Now you can do it.
All right, well then therein ends our meeting. Thank you.